what would you say for people suffering injuries? What would you say for people's long-term health, ability in their roads to recovery?
First thing that comes to my head is just don't give up.
Yeah.
Because I know what it's like to be in pain and just want to give up.
Yeah.
There is light at the end of the tunnel.
Mm-hmm.
Just keep going until you get the answers you want. Reach out for help and support from other people. That's so important.
Yeah.
That's always been great about me being here.
Yeah.
Is having the
Thank
support.
You. Yeah, I appreciate that. Welcome, everyone, to Sculpt Fitness Spotlight. I have a very, very special guest today, Shawn Morris. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah. So I've known Shawn for 10 years.
Somewhere around there.
About
a good decade.
Yeah, a good decade.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been training together for about 6.5 years.
Something like that, yeah.
And what makes your story or this story so compelling, or what makes this story so interesting to me, mm-hmm. is everything that you've been through in that time. Mm-hmm. So we're going to walk kind of through that and really, make sure that we do a deep dive into that, because I feel like that story is just so compelling, especially to the people who have endured, who really have pushed themselves through things that they didn't think was possible. So in that 6.5 years, I've had the pleasure and also like this pain to see you have to restart. And I say it that way because you and I are very similar in that aspect of endurance, especially with life, body, and I've never related to somebody so much, but I've actually seen you have to restart from, hey, I'm walking, I'm running, then back to crawling, walking, then running. And that's been about 3 times?
Yes.
So just walk, when we met at a different facility, and then we started training when I came to Sculpt, mm-hmm. and it's been, like I said, just a really emotional and physical roller coaster.
Right.
And for some people, that's a little bit different than the other member spotlights that we've had. Mm-hmm. I think your story is very powerful. And so walk me through let's go back to the very first time you were training with me. Mm-hmm. You were really at that peak of performance. Mm-hmm. And then what happened? Then what happened? I'll let you kind of take that on.
I got sick. Mm-hmm. And just didn't feel well all the time and couldn't figure out what was going on with my body.
Yeah.
And I just think I attribute it to either overtraining, bad nutrition, just tearing myself apart, thinking I needed to push myself harder.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't trying hard enough.
And you were. You definitely were.
Right.
I remember. And I remember even telling you that sometimes you need to back off a bit.
Right.
And what did you tell me? You're like, shut up. Yeah. which is the story.
Don't tell me.
Yeah, don't tell me.
You couldn't tell me anything at that time.
Got you.
Because I just had that drive. Like I wanted more.
That's true.
I remember actually messaging you when I was ready. When I felt like I need to level up. I need to do something different besides just Zumba.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you were like, what can I do? I'm here for you, whatever I can do to help you.
Yeah.
So, and I wasn't hitting those, whatever my goals were.
Yeah.
So it was frustrating. So I think you probably said something to me along the lines of go to the doctor, talk to the doctor about those things. And I did that and realized that I had an issue.
Yeah, there
was a medical issue.
There was an issue.
There was an issue.
Yes.
That wasn't, weights were not going to fix.
No. There's not much
right.
that we could have done. And
right.
So the first issue was
right.
the abdominal.
I thought I always had ovarian cysts.
Yeah.
It's genetic in my family, passed on from my paternal grandfather. So I thought maybe I just have a really bad cyst again, and the doctor's not seeing it. I had quite a few surgeries actually when I was younger to remove cysts, so the pain was similar, but my belly would always get really distended.
Yeah.
Saw the gyno, said, let's just take this ovary out. She found a cyst. She did some tests. She found a cyst. She's like, let's just take it out. Let's just get rid of the problem.
Yeah.
So I have bigger fish to fry. I'm busy with life.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they got in there and she opened me up and was just like, oh my God. It was bad news. It was a much bigger problem.
Yeah. And what did they end up doing?
She did take my ovary and my fallopian tube on the right side, but found a huge mass within my digestive tract. And they couldn't do anything at that point because they didn't really know what was going on, need to be diagnosed before they touched anything.
Yeah. So because they opened you up and they didn't know what it was. Got it.
Right.
Got it.
And made a lot of sense for what my symptoms were.
Yeah.
And then closed me back up. Sent me home to recover from that, and then immediately I needed to go see an internal medicine doctor to find out what was going on.
Yeah.
Whether I had cancer, whether I just had a tumor, whether, who knew? It could have been a variable, different things.
I remember when you were so scared about that. And I do remember when you said to me, and it's maybe harder for me to talk about than you to talk about. You said to me, if I remember correctly, you said, I have to go in for surgery. I might have cancer. You didn't know at the time.
Mass is a scary word.
Was scary. Yeah. But you said something to me that I remember gave me chills afterwards when you left. You said, it is what it is, and I'll just do whatever I need to do. But you didn't say it with self-doubt. There wasn't this trying to push yourself to be more positive. It is what it is. There was this grit to you, and that gave me the chills. I remember it because I remember when you left, I was like, jeez, man, holy shit. Yeah. I was like, what was that?
I was over it.
And I could tell. I
just wanted to move on from being in pain and suffering all the time.
And when you came back, you came back after that, shortly after. It wasn't like a long time.
Well, let's back up for a second because I distinctly remember that I had just had my 40th birthday.
Yeah.
And I went and did a Spartan. I was in the best shape of my life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nutritionally, physically, I was cut.
You were really pushing yourself.
Yeah.
Hard. And really hard.
Yeah.
And I remember how you were like, we killed it. And you were just, it's just different. Our training was very dynamic. It was
I was in a great place. I was like floating on air because I was looking better naked. I was hitting it nutritionally. I felt really good about myself.
Yeah.
And I had always wanted to do an OCR race and just kill it.
Yeah.
And not be the one lagging behind. I wanted to kill it. And I remember I was with my friend Mary McCarthy. It was just the two of us. We had gone to this race and we killed it.
Yeah.
And then the next
I remember
day,
you texting me afterwards. You were like, yo, we killed it.
We did.
And I was like, fuck yeah. I was like, let's go. And then it was just also, was it a couple weeks?
It was like the next day.
Yeah, it was like it was like 2 days later or whatever.
I think
and you were like, this is bad. Yeah, this is bad.
That's when everything fell apart because I think that the doctor had thought that because I had exhausted my body like that, it triggered an episode and my belly was distended, and that's kind of where it happened from there.
Yeah. And then, we came back and I remember we trained, and I remember our training was slightly different and we adapted to the things that we needed to do.
Yeah.
And you still had this grit to you in this, like, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Let's kind of push through that. And then I also saw you just like knowing yourself better. The boundary was better. You were like, nope, that's where, we kind of draw the line. And we got to a place where it was very the same. We built you back up. And I remember that you focused very heavily on pushing yourself with Zumba, pushing yourself with training,
HIIT classes. Yep.
You even did some classes here too with us. Mm-hmm. And then tragedy strikes again. and once again, I was also shocked. Because I remember how much and I know how much you love Zumba, and I know how much you love training, sweating, pushing yourself. Oh, by the way, she sweats more than any person I've ever met, maybe
really
ever. It's pretty bad.
It's really bad.
It's bad. So, you really pushed yourself to another level of redemption. Mm-hmm. And then it was short-lived,
that was rough.
as far as that
one was rough.
That was rough.
Yeah.
To see you kind of go in, it was more of an emergency mode. It was like there's something seriously wrong.
Right.
And you had to be kind of very quickly off to the hospital, off to surgery.
I think that hearing the doctor say things like you will no longer be able to.
Yeah.
That's hard to swallow because you don't tell me that. Like, I don't accept that. No. What do you mean?
Yeah.
No, I'm going to bounce back. I'm going to be fine.
Yeah.
No, you will not be able to do certain things. Your body will never move the same. You won't have the same body mechanics that you used to. That was hard.
It was hard to explain to you. I do remember explaining to you that things were going to be very different. And I remember a lot of self-doubt at that point and it was a very emotional time for you.
I didn't have control.
There was nothing.
What the issue was.
There was nothing that you could have done differently.
Right.
And I think that's a testament to also your grit and endurance, like your ability to endure. But I had to watch you and myself too go through this critical change where your mind was forced to change along with your body. Right. There was nothing that you could have done. And that was a major abdominal surgery, a gastrointestinal surgery, which was something that you obviously needed to get done right away.
Yes.
And I remember when you came back after that, of course, having an abdominal surgery, it was weak abdominals, which was obviously the issue. So we focused on, building all around that, including your abdominal muscles when you were able to do that. And once again, she gave it the adequate amount of time where the doctor told you, but you did push. You were like, I remember this. So she had like 4 weeks to recovery, 3-4 weeks to recovery. And you kept texting me and you were like, I'm almost there. I'm there. And I remember it was like a month and a half.
Two more weeks.
It was like a countdown to her,
my comeback.
Yeah. You were like, you kept saying that. You kept saying, you're like, oh dude, I'm going to kill it. I'm going to kill it. And you were like, I can't wait to get back to it. I'm driving myself crazy. And
but then when I came back, you said things like tear scar tissue.
Yeah, scar.
And I was like,
what
do you mean?
Well, there was
scar tissue.
But there was a lot of scar tissue.
Yeah.
And we knew that.
Yeah.
And we had to be careful of that. So what I did is, most of the trainers know, what we practice here is working with people with injuries rather than working around the injury. So I knew that if you had weak abdominals, we needed to focus on spinal erectors. We needed to focus on your upper body, your hip flexors, and of course training all the things that had to do with your abdominal muscles,
right?
But not directly,
right?
Because I knew that would be too much,
right?
And in that period of time, we were able to eventually start training your abdominal muscles, and it was great. I mean, and you were really, once again, you get yourself back to an optimal amount. We had to focus more then on nutrition than ever.
Right.
Because you had abdominal surgery and it was a gastrointestinal thing, we focused like everything on nutrition and nutrition and performance in that aspect.
That was more important actually than the the physical aspect of it.
Because
in
at that point
situation.
you started to learn the value that nutrition is everything.
Right.
And I believe at that time, because of the stress hormones that constantly are rising and falling, we focused a lot on sleep then. I remember I was like, dude, you got to go to make sure you get proper recovery. And we did everything that we practiced here, which is the 3 basics, which is focusing on nutrition, calories matter, and in your case, what you ate mattered.
Right. Anti-inflammatory things.
Yes, yeah.
I remember driving to the hospital, and when you have that kind of a surgery, they actually make you drink a juice on your way in because they want your intestinal tract, your digestive system continue to work during surgery.
Yeah.
They don't make you clean yourself out or anything like that. Yes.
Yeah, wow.
I remember because I was doing keto at the time.
Yes.
I was freaking out. I was like, oh my God, they're going to make me drink apple juice. I can't drink this. I told all the doctors I don't eat that way.
Yeah.
I keep sugar limited in my diet. That was rough. But that's what a psycho I was.
Well, at the time you were so, if we can kind of get off that type of track of you were so indoctrinated into the keto world. And I remember telling you, calories matter.
Right.
Anti-inflammatory diets obviously matter, but you were in such a mode where you were like, I'll gain weight if I do this, if I do that. And I remember going, hey, calories matter.
Right.
Watch what you eat.
Right.
We know certain things. And we then kind of had, after that, the nutritional knowledge that we have now, which is very, very different. But
that was a whole thing in itself.
We could make a whole episode on that,
just on that,
on how people fad diet, and it doesn't.
And my body loved keto. I did very, very well on it.
And it was because
I was just obsessed with it without realizing that there were other avenues that I could benefit from besides that.
Yes,
I'm very aware of that now.
But that's what's nice is that you actually took the time to learn,
right? And
you were like, hey, I get it,
right?
And that's what I've always enjoyed with you is your ability to endure and change up like that, to be able to go, hey, all right, and I need to put that behind me.
Yeah.
So after that surgery, we focused on really trying to focus on nutrition, performance, and sleep being the main factor, along with nutrition. So then it's been some time. A couple years.
I think, yeah.
And you start feeling pressure and pain.
Yes.
In your lower lumbar spine. And I believe it was your
SI
hip,
joint.
SI joint. Yep. And so we are sitting there, scratching our heads. And then you go in and you kind of knew, and you did stretch this out with your decision when you found out about the spinal fusion that they told you would be the best option for you.
Right.
And once again, at this point, when you have somebody that has been through so much, you really start to trust them in their decision, in their intuitive way with their body. You cut through all the BS. And you get right down to, I need this. I know what I need to do.
Right.
And I remember, once again, when you told me, and it was a very emotional time for you and me, because I feel very strongly in my career that I wanted to focus on making people better. And
I was always having a setback.
Yeah,
I was,
and to you it felt that way, and to me it also felt that way. And when you're working with somebody for so long, and you see their body go through so many changes, and you root for them, you're a cheerleader, you're a friend, you're a trainer, you're a coach, and when you see them have to go, hey man, this is another major surgery, and I was like, oh man, But there was a part of me that, because I saw you go through so much, I knew better. I was like, okay, let's do this. Let's do it. And I remember when you came in, you scheduled the surgery, And once again, just like in the beginning, I think it was the second to last training that I saw you. And no, this was actually the last training. And you were going to go, and you were scheduled out for that. And you left, and you said the same thing. And you said, "Hey, it is what it is, and I got it. I got this." And when you got that surgery, I remember that you were very emotional because of one, the drugs that you're on, two will do it. But it's also that's a major surgery. Yeah. A spinal fusion is a major surgery. And it is for those of you who don't know, this also changes the structure in which you actually move your body. Your body, all the muscles change. All the way that your spine is changes. The way that your hips rotate changes. So this is a drastic change. Right. And bone healing, when it's a fusion, there's a cage. There's screws in your back. We'll show a picture. Okay. That is such a massive change for you structurally.
Right.
That you have to change the way you do almost everything.
Right. Your body mechanics are completely different.
Yes.
Yeah.
And although you were pissed off at me for not going to visit you in the hospital, I texted her quite often, and I did call.
No, that was the middle surgery. That was the
middle surgery?
one.
Okay, that you were mad about.
The last one you couldn't.
I could. Oh, because of COVID. But this one, yes.
Yeah.
So.
Well, let's just back up for a second. Can I reiterate on something you said?
Let's reiterate. Let's go.
This is where the support comes in for me, having you there for me all these years. I think in understanding me sometimes at moments maybe that better than I did myself, because I think you knew that I would adapt and have that mindset. But this time was hard.
Yeah.
This was rough. I didn't know what exactly to expect this time. And I had a few moments of some serious doubt that I wasn't going to do it this time. Like
when you were there sitting.
First and foremost, I was like, what the like this isn't fair. Like I need a break.
You start playing.
Never mind all the personal things with losing family members that were going on in my life
at the same
time.
Yeah.
Just to be told this news is like, this is bullshit.
Yeah.
This is not fair. I've worked really, really hard. I deserve the reward. I'm sick of this.
Yeah.
And then when I told you the news and you were like, okay, well, let's fix it and move on. Well, that's what I would have said. So I'm like, okay.
So you were almost mimicking what I was saying. See, I thought you played it off so well that I thought that I was expecting you to say that.
Well, I did after that, but you didn't know what was going on in my head.
Okay.
Because I had come back from the doctor's appointment where he said, you are not going to be able to dance anymore. Mm. Your body will be limited the way you can move, horseback riding, things you do for enjoyment, HIIT classes, forget it, OCR, never again. Yeah. All the things that I had thought about, those things were weighing heavily on me because those are my passions, especially teaching fitness.
Yeah.
That was a very low point for me.
Yeah.
And I didn't share that with anybody. I did a lot of crying in my car. I started to kind of feel like a hypochondriac, like my body's failing me. The harder I'm working, the more my body's failing me. And then I had to get myself out of that very quickly because I can't go down. I just couldn't allow myself to go down that.
You literally can't. It's not an option.
It wasn't.
To go down that road.
Right.
So
we're saying I can't go down that road.
So it's like you can't go down that road for, obvious reasons. Mm-hmm. One, you can't allow yourself to do that because you don't have the luxury.
Right.
And the other one is it's out of your character. That's not your character. Mm-hmm. Your character you've built up. And
I was feeling sorry for myself.
As we all, that's just a point of it. But then it was very brief, and you pushed past that, which shows the ability to endure. And after everything you've already been through, but what I saw after once the surgery happened, there was a part of you that was taken away. And all of a sudden, as you started to heal, I started to get more texts.
Don't forget about me. I'll be back.
I started to get those texts.
3 weeks.
Yeah. And it became, oh man, it became something for me that was motivating for me. And that's very...
You're such a jerk.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. We told each other that we wouldn't make each other cry when we did this one. But here it is. Oh man, it becomes something, that reminds me a lot of myself. So, we're very similar in that aspect. And, this is the point in my career where I could tell, where I can tell people that my clients give me as much as I give back to them. And it is a lovely thing to see and experience and have that. And it's been, it makes my life better as you try to make other people's lives better. So it's very hard. But I kept getting those texts, and it was the "don't forget about me, I'll be back," Arnold style. And it was helpful for me getting those texts and seeing those texts. And we'll put up when you came, back to see me, some of the accomplishments that you made within just that short time. I believe it was 2 or 3 months into our training. The first time she got under the bar and was able to squat just the bar, and then.
But I was so happy.
Yes,
and that was a huge achievement for me.
I was super stoked for you at that point, and to see her do planks again and to be able to move your body. There wasn't a lot of talk about Zumba. And then as we progressed to train together, there was this glint of, hey, I'm going to start, I was thinking of taking a class. And then it was, hey, I think I was going to take a class on top of maybe going to another one. Mm-hmm. And then, hey, I was thinking of maybe teaching a class, maybe in the water. Remember, I was like, water Zumba. You're like, yeah, dude, that's a thing. And I was like, what?
Aqua Zumba.
Zumba. Yeah. And then
I was testing my body.
Yeah.
I wanted to see what my abilities were, how I could move, if they could move. That was huge for me. Yeah. I remember standing up with one of my other instructors, Yvetta, and she's like, come up and do a song. And a salsa came on.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know what's going to happen with this, but, and it just felt euphoric. Like, I was just like, oh my God, I can do this. My body's allowing me to move this way. It's not the same.
Yeah.
I could feel where the limitations were.
Yeah.
I'm very intuitive with my body. I can read it. So things are different, but I have adapted.
A new normal.
Yeah.
Yeah. You and I, these past 10 years, have been talking a lot about new normal. Mm-hmm. It's been kind of a language to those who have endured a lot, suffered lots of loss, had to restart. New normal is somebody that it's embodying change and taking change to the next level, or to always knowing there is a next level of that.
Well, what my goals were coming in here and what they are now leaving here is completely different. It's just, and it's funny to look back and think that that's where I was and this is where I am now.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's a lovely thing to see, and it makes me feel better that like you did your job right, or you did things right. You told the person the truth, and this is what we got. Right. I think 2 questions. your never give up attitude has been developed over time. Where do you think it stemmed? Where do you think it came from? Was it the way that you were raised? I won't speculate, but
childhood for sure.
Childhood, that gritty.
Just
childhood.
That gritty. I had to be a survivor in my life at a very young age.
Yeah.
There was no giving up because I would have ended up dead.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah, literally. Yeah.
So,
and
I adapted that throughout my youth and my teenage years and into my adulthood.
And you knew that it's like, if I don't endure,
Mm-hmm.
I won't survive.
Right.
And that is, that's a strength of humans, isn't it? Mm-hmm. It's the ability to adapt and endure. And that is what has motivated me so much throughout this 10 years of knowing you. And it's been great. So if we could close on something what would you say? What would you say for people suffering injuries? What would you say for people's long-term health, ability in their roads to recovery? What would you say to them?
That's a big question.
It is. Even if it's something small.
The first thing that comes to my head is just don't give up.
Yeah.
Because I know what it's like to be in pain and just want to give up.
Yeah.
There is light at the end of the tunnel.
Mm-hmm.
Just keep going until you get the answers you want. Reach out for help and support from other people. That's so important.
Yeah.
That's always been great about me being here.
Yeah.
Is having the support.
You. Yeah, I appreciate that.
Just don't, that's just for me what comes naturally to my mind.
Is never giving up.
Never giving up.
There's always a new normal.
There's always a new normal. If you allow yourself your days, everybody has good days and bad days.
Of the days of grief and self-doubt.
Self-doubt, pity party.
Yeah.
Don't stay there.
Yeah. You can do it.
You can do it.
But don't stay there.
Pain is very controlling.
Yeah.
But our minds are stronger than that.
They can be.
They can be.
For sure.
Your mind is stronger than your physical body.
Yeah.
When that gives out, you're still laying there with your brain.
Exactly.
So
I agree with that.
Yeah.
And I don't think we can do much better than what we just did. So everyone, thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in for another Sculpt Fitness Spotlight. Shawn Morris, we are out of here.
We're out of here.
Bye.
Deuces.